We are back doing the podcasts, and I can't believe we haven't done this episode before. Wow, actually, I do know the main reasons because there's so many of the whites in the gym. We don't have enough headsets for everyone. Sorry, sorry, Jacob.
Yeah, because that Buster goes, how many of you are coming? I said, there's just us. He goes, where's Jacob?
And Gabby too.
And
Don't
Gabby, yeah. That's right. Well,
Gabby
actually,
said she's not offended, by the way.
Okay, but Jacob is.
I don't know. I haven't spoken to Jacob.
Well, I think we should start with a little bit of an introduction of everyone. So I think the way we'll start this is how about we go with Mike first, and you'll introduce the person to your left.
Yep.
And then Mia will introduce the person to her left.
Cool.
And then we'll go, Jules, back to Mike.
Okay, perfect.
How about we do that? Just a
Sounds
quick little
good.
introduction, just however random or
Yeah.
normal details you want to tell about that person.
Okay.
Oh, random details about that. All right.
Geez, I could have prescripted this.
dear.
No. This is Mia. She's my eldest daughter. She's been doing CrossFit. She's probably for as long as I have. Maybe a year or two afterwards.
Yeah, close to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's probably our most passionate CrossFit kid.
Now the other kids are offended again.
No, she is. I mean, no, she does put the work in. I mean, Gabby's kind of ducked in and ducked out, and Jacob's pretty consistent. But Mia is, there's an analytical side to Mia where she goes home and does her homework and tries to better her movements and be more efficient and stuff. So you can see that passion and pride is there. And it's nice to watch you grow and succeed and stuff, because when you put the work in and you try to do things better, you get results, and it's not an easy process. There's a grind to it, and people look at it and they see success and they say, wow, I want to be like that. But when it comes to putting in the hours behind it to get there, they're the first to walk away too. So, it's something you should be proud of.
Thanks.
It's a very nice start.
Okay. Well, this is Mum. This is Julie. Although she claims not to be a competitive athlete, I think she trains the same, if not more hours than many of us in here.
A lot of hours chatting, socialising, to be honest.
Often doing double days and comp classes and things. So definitely improving and definitely on the way up. And I think you've been doing it, probably about a year or so longer than I have. So thereabouts. And
how many years? I guess we haven't said how many years.
Oh, I don't actually know.
I think 7?
I got my 6-year shirt, and then I was at Wellbeing for 2 before that.
Okay,
so
longer.
I think we're probably looking at like 8 or 9. Yeah. Yeah, and definitely making leaps and bounds, especially at the moment in comparison to where you used to be for gymnastics and technique and fitness and everything. So, yeah, on the up and up.
Thank you.
Nice.
Well, down at the end is Michael. He was the one that first introduced us all to CrossFit. We were a family of dabbling in triathlons, but then his hate of Lycra took us out of that. And we opened up an office up in Belrose, and there was a CrossFit gym up there, and Mike and my brother Greg started up there, and then slowly we all started participating. So yes, so that's what I'd say I am. I'm a participant, but Mike's definitely a competitor. So we've got lots of enjoyment watching him
Awesome.
forge his way.
Now, there's a couple of other white family members that are not here as well. Should we quickly run through them too?
Yeah,
Maybe,
sure.
maybe Jules, you want to do the missing
so
pieces?
Obviously, Jacob, our eldest. So we've got 4 kids in total. We nearly have the whole set here. We've got one that is refusing to join CrossFit.
He's been in a couple of times.
He has been in a couple of
Yeah.
times. We'll get him here one day,
He'd be
Hunter.
very good.
But Jacob, Jacob is here. And then also my parents, obviously, are here as well. So,
Ed and Maxine.
yes, Ed and Maxine are here in the gym. Funny backstory. Maxine was the one that she said when we first started CrossFit, CrossFit's so bad for you. It's not a good sport to be in, and da-da-da. And now look at it.
She is the
Coaching,
coach, yeah.
coaching their FMT classes and, reading all the articles and listening to the
Wow.
podcasts. So, they're currently in New Zealand trekking 14 Ks a day for 5 days or something. And that's 77 this year. I think
Wow.
they're doing pretty good. Yes.
That's awesome.
So,
yes.
yeah.
So
Don't
Ed and
forget-
Maxine,
Yeah.
Jacob and Gabby that are
Yes.
here, and then Hunter's been here a couple of times.
Yep.
Yeah, and we do have our
the
foster
kids.
children.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
We have Hamali
Yep.
and we have Quinn, who
Yep.
have been kind of adopted into
roped into the chaos.
forcefully roped
Yes.
in. Didn't get much of a choice.
Molly's a regular at Sunday night dinners.
Yes.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so is Quinn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Quinn's
guys.
always there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the similar kind of train of thought here. Let's go to some of the first experiences you had with CrossFit, because what I find interesting with your story just now is that it didn't take much convincing to get the rest of the family in for you, Mike. Usually that I feel like that takes about a year or 2 years before someone finally takes a step in. So what was your first experience, Mike, and then how did you start converting the rest of the family?
Look, Greg had always kind of pushed me in that direction. He had mentioned several times, he goes, I think you do well with that sport if you actually put your mind to it and stuff. And I'd always been just a fitness first guy and a triathlete guy and stuff. So
Mike has always been
active.
active and at the gym.
Yeah.
Always, yeah.
So we took and this is a small world too. I remember went into our first class, and the first person I met there was Steve Tamanini.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Yeah. So he was there on the rower, and he was the first person I met when I walked in the place. So we
Yeah.
had a chat. And I think we did a class or two, and then we went to a Saturday class, and I was partners with Greg, and it was a 95 kilo deadlift or something, or 95 kilo, yeah. And it was just, wow, how can I pick that up? You know, there's no way I can pick that up. And we both we sat there looking at it, problem solving, like that's going to really hurt me. And we did our box show. I think we brought the weight down to like 80 or something afterwards, but it was very intimidating. And I get how people, when they come into a gym, the people can be inviting, but still looking at the people and watching the people move, and you think, I can't do that. And you think you're going to be judged. And and I'm not going to measure up, but we all start there, and we all have to start somewhere. And it just takes a while. And once people realize that you're not getting judged, it's just your opening stage, the beginning of your journey, if you will. And you gotta walk before you can run. So,
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, I think when you and Greg started and you were talking about all the fun you were having, fun being in quotes, because it was getting up from the desk, from the office chair, hobbling around the office because you know how sore you are when you first start.
yeah.
But they did say how much fun it was to do it with lots of people, because the typical gyms, you're all doing it by yourselves and, not really talking to other people too much. So, so that was my sister-in-law and I got roped in probably like a couple of months after
Yeah, I think so.
you guys started. I think we'd only been at Wellbeing for maybe 4 months when the open,
Yeah, and did we sign
when
up
the
for it?
first open. I think we did.
Yeah.
Straight away.
I think we did.
I think, I don't know how that happened, but yeah.
It was the problem solving side that attracted us to it. It was trying to, walk on your hands or do a full snatch or do all the little techniques and the movements that take time to do. Was just how can I do it, and how can I do this better? How can I do a muscle up? How can I do a ring muscle up? And you'll spend months and months just trying to do a ring muscle. And then is of course butterflies. How do you do a butterfly chest to bar? Okay, we keep working on that too. So
There's always something.
yeah,
Always,
and that's where the
always,
homework
always.
comes in, and
Yeah.
figure out how do I move in endless amounts of YouTube videos.
Yeah. But it also sounds like for Jules, for you, it was the social aspect was
Oh,
huge, right?
100%.
So how was that in the
Yeah.
beginning?
Well,
Did you know anyone else besides Greg and his wife? Or?
Well, as we tend to do, once one of us signs up there's a group of us. So we tend to
travelling
come
packs.
en masse. Yeah. So I guess doing it all together was a lot of fun because obviously all the triathlon training and stuff is very solitary. Although we did meet lots of good friends doing that, but the actual training part of it, you're doing a lot by yourself. So being able to go to the gym and all train together is a lot of fun. And then we got the kids involved because Maddie Forward was running kids classes over on what was at Athletic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
So
down the
you
road.
started then, didn't you, in the kids class?
And Hunter did too.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I jumped in to both. So I started doing, because I was a little bit older than Hunter. So I started doing kids classes with Maddie and then doing adult classes at Wellbeing and kind of tag teamed between the two for a year or two. Yeah.
But you were the one that introduced us to
Yeah.
Sean and Tashi.
To athletic.
Yeah.
So Mia, how old were you when you started, and what was your kind of outlook on fitness and training in the beginning, like right at the beginning, almost before you started, into maybe a couple of years in?
Yeah. Oh gosh, I was in year 10, so I would have been like 15, I think, when I started. And I had done sports growing up. I had done AFL and swimming and dabbled in track and things like that. So
Soccer.
yeah, soccer. So I kind of bounced between sports, but I had never entered a commercial gym and so I didn't really know anything else when it came to weights or and things like that. And I remember kicking and screaming when Mum tried to get me to the first class.
You didn't want to
I
go.
was so off it. I was so not happy to be there. And then I think Maddie got us to try and learn how to snatch with a dowel rod, and yeah, I just didn't really stop.
Well, you
from
came
there.
out red faced.
Yeah,
I think I've still got a photo of after her first class.
Well, it was in between a stage of I think I had quit soccer and I hadn't done anything for a couple of months. So it was kind of a kick in the guts in terms of actually getting moving.
So what was the change then, since you didn't want to go in there, and
Yeah.
then you probably had 45 minutes or an hour with Maddie? What happened?
I think it was a lot more interesting than I gave it credit for. When it comes to weights and things like that, I never saw myself doing anything like that. Obviously, nobody at 15 years old really, I mean, it's picked up a little bit now since social media has gotten more popular, but nobody really went to the gym, no girls especially, and things like that. So I was just kind of like, what am I doing here? You know, this is, my friends are at the beach and why am I going to the gym? And then I think I also saw Darius rope climbing at Athletic and things like that. And I was like, these people are pretty cool. It's
Wow, Darius is going to love that.
So yeah, I think from there it was less about kind of the fitness side of things and more about I wonder if I can have some fun with this and see if I can just kind of see what I can do and have some fun. And I think it was kind of like you, a lot more social than anything I'd ever really done before. So going in there and meeting somebody else and for the first time and having new groups. And I think I trained with Lily Brooks a fair bit towards the end of high school. So her and I would train at the 5 a.m. class and things like that. She'd pick me up and stuff. So yeah, it was a lot more social and a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. So I got hooked pretty quick.
That's awesome. What was your first impression of Lily's dad?
Well, we knew Buster before. So
full circle.
Yeah,
Pre-dress.
Full skirt.
Pre-dressing.
pre-dressing, pre-cross-dressing.
I don't think lots of the new members would have seen the photos. We might have to put some
I think
up.
Buster's been banned from dressing up like that.
Well, especially when he's standing over a young teenage girl with a clipboard judging her in a questionable outfit. Yeah.
So funny.
But no, we knew Buster.
Yeah.
Buster
Buster was-
coached Jacob in soccer.
Oh, I didn't
Years
know
and
that.
years
I
ago.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So probably about 2 or 3 years before we started training at Athletic, we had known him because Jacob was the goalie for the team that Buster coached. So we had already known him, and we knew Katie quite well because Katie would come to every single game and she'd hang out with Gabs and I and things like that. So we already knew kind of them in another way, and it was just funny when we were at Athletic. I was like, what the hell?
We had no idea how analytical Buster was.
I think we did.
Well, no, we learnt that after.
Oh, okay. He
What
had,
was he like as a soccer coach?
He's a
Oh,
great
he's pretty.
coach.
Yeah, he is a very
Yeah.
good coach.
So good. Jacob loved working under Buster.
And
And
I-
Jacob was only 16
I
when
apologize in advance if
Yeah.
I'm way off base here, but from what I've heard, Pittwater had that massive run
Yeah,
of
Buster
10
coached
years
for
of without
the Premier
losing a
League.
game
Yeah.
and something. So they just ate
All
it
to
up.
Buster's credit.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course, yes.
only,
Yeah.
But he had a room at home, and I could be wrong here from what I've heard,
This is what I've
with
heard,
all
yeah.
statistics of all the players from all around the league and what they could do and stuff. So before game, he'd analyze where their strengths and who was the guns and who was the. So he'd do all his homework. Does it surprise you at all? Before going
Well,
in, but
he makes Nick Bedouin sound lazy then.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
yes, that was
Yeah.
word on the street. That
Yeah.
was, yeah.
That's
So he was a
incredible.
great coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just people's past before they
Yes.
come into the gym, because we
Yeah.
get very. I love being at the gym, and it's not so much about who you are outside the
Yeah.
gym. It's like what you can do in the gym, which is kind of nice. But then also you forget a bit. It's like
Yes.
people have careers or
Yeah.
other sporting paths, and the gym isn't everything.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. So
even
it's a
though
fun
some
balance.
days, like around about now, it is everything. But, yes.
Well,
yeah.
that's a good point, though. That's I mean, because we're in the smack in the middle of the beginning of the open
Yes.
season. So maybe we should get this cat out of the bag straight away. Do you want to say your score? Well, I know you haven't done it yet.
haven't
Mia.
done
Do
it,
you want to say
yeah.
your score, and then if you're redoing or not redoing?
She's what,
07.
207. So,
Okay.
and yeah, I think I'll redo. There was not expecting a huge amount more, but I think there was. Look, analyzing the data, I'm going to be outside the 200. I know that, and the 200 go forward. So I'm guessing I'll probably settle in at the end about 400, which is kind of how I start every open because it's always
an engine workout.
it's an engine
Yeah.
workout, which I know things like burpees. They're really not my jam, and I know that.
And you have quite a specific goal around the open, though. And that's
Yes.
hence why it
Yeah.
makes sense for you to redo.
It is, and it's always funny since you joined. You aspire to go, or at least I have. You aspire to go to the CrossFit Games and stuff. I think CrossFit has kind of broken it a little bit by segregating the teens and the masters and elite
Elites.
athletes. It was appealing when I went to watch Buster. It was massive crowds and
was
a lot
huge,
going
yeah.
on. It was a great environment to be at and stuff. And to be on that stadium floor, you think, you know what, I'd really like to have a crack at that.
Yeah.
But then speaking to Olivia last year, it was night and day. It wasn't like that. There was no stadium and not much for crowds and stuff. Not many people are going to pay to watch masters athletes really.
And it's a
killing stuff.
huge amount of huge amount of time and effort
And
and
money,
money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to go. I mean, obviously, Mike being American, if he gets to go to the States to do the CrossFit Games, we were like, well, that's good. You can piggyback it, going
your
to see
family and stuff,
family
yeah.
and all of that stuff. But it's
Kind
it's
of
not
for your
as-
everyday person.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
It's a big ask.
But Mike, the beauty with CrossFit is it's never ever consistent. So that might change
I
next
know.
year.
definitely.
Who knows what happens?
They
we go
still-
back to normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still haven't even announced a venue for the Masters Games. I don't believe they've said a city, but
Yeah.
so how
Hopefully they
Yeah.
get it right because it's a great community, and if they bring it together, it only grows. Because
Mia had when they went up to watch Buster in 2022 in Madison. I mean, you had a ball. You
That
were
was the best.
shadowing Buster and his Red Joe
Yeah.
and meeting all your
Yeah.
heroes and
Yeah, and we were really lucky in the sense that we got there about a week early, and so we were just training as per normal, and Buster was doing a couple flush out sessions and things like that at a gym close by before kind of the Madison venue had opened up, and we got to train next to Velner and next to Medeiros and next to Haley Adams and stuff. So you kind of walk in, you're like, oh,
It's a special experience.
This is
yeah.
nice.
It is, and I think that's where they've lost their way a little bit because if we were there watching a Masters athlete, and Mia she was passionate about foregoing, but when she was leaving, she had fully drunk the Kool-Aid, and I mean, I'm on board now.
Yeah.
And I think they missed that window because the Masters will bring in family who then convert into full-time members and wanting to be not like me, but the top athletes and stuff. I want to be like that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the beauty with the games is the times I've gone, and sounds pretty similar to you, Mia, is that these famous athletes in quotes, they're very accessible during the games week because you go to gym, you train, you see them close up, you might even have a chat with them. You see them in Whole Foods, and then at the games as well. It's not like they're celebrities, or if you go to the Australian Open and watch the tennis, you're not really going to stand next to Djokovic at any point, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the games, it's very different. So it's an awesome experience, and it really does make you drink the Kool-Aid for sure. Yeah. All right, back to open scores again. So Mia, you're not doing it yet.
I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm kind of shooting for that 24 to 27 area in terms of scoring, but we'll see how it goes. It might change when I start burping. So
at the 8-9 minute mark, it's a lot of things change. Yeah. And how about you, Jules?
So I got 168. So I don't know. It is what it is. Burpees are not my jam. So I got through it. The heat killed me, as I'm sure it killed everyone. But it was fine.
It was a typical.
But
week
always
one.
that first workout is never. It's always engine-y, and that's not my forte. So
Well, this is a little bit of the point I want to make because there are a lot of new people doing the Open at the gym this year, and so people get caught up in it, which I think is great, and they're nervous before they're going out. Again, that's great. How often are we nervous these days in an adult life? It's not that often. So that's all awesome, but people can get a bit hung up in the score. So does that number that you just mentioned, does that have anything to do with what kind of person you are?
Oh, God.
No. And nobody thinks of you really any differently.
No.
Even the people that like I'll tell Buster and he'll say I expected this from you and you got more or you got less or whatever. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to think anything different of you when you walk in on Monday morning. And
everyone gets a hug and a pat on the back.
And if you gave it a crack. And, Even if you didn't, even if you're just there watching, everyone, the community comes together and then you start training on a Monday morning again and everything's the same. So,
It's not a reflection of who you are as a person or what you stand for. You did a workout. It's your number.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, if you don't like your number, train harder and get a better number.
Well, that's, I think, too, for the new members is the first Open is always your baseline.
You want that baseline as low as possible.
Definitely.
You improve heaps.
Yeah. And that, I guess, is the beauty of signing up and being able to do it year after year is you do look back on some of your numbers and you're like, God, I've gotten a lot stronger or gotten a lot faster or...
Yeah.
And it's.
I was telling
cool
Gabby yesterday. Gabs was chucking up the 15 kilo dumbbell, which she doesn't really.
She was very stressed about that.
She was very nervous.
Stressed about that yesterday.
And she came to me before the workout and she's like, look, I can scale it and I can do a 12 and a half. And the scores do not matter to her. She's like,
well, she
I'm
didn't
not
even want to
looking
sign up. She didn't want to put numbers.
Yeah, she's like, I'm obviously not looking to compete and go and whatever for where she is now. And I said, look, and I kind of told her a story from my first Open. I said, and I cried when the workout was released because I had been doing it for a year or so and they gave us a 14-pound wall ball.
Oh, I remember.
And I had never even touched one. I did not know what I was going to do. And we went on for a session Friday morning and it was released and I went to coffee after the session and I just cried because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this and all this kind of stuff. And I just said, look, when you look back at it, I ended up doing it and there are little videos of me jumping and
standing over you.
Buster's there behind me scoring and stuff. And I said, in terms of that, I now can kind of look back at those videos and have a smile and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
So I said, just give her the 15 kilo crack. She was not in a position where she's going to hurt herself or anything like that. And I was like, you can lift it, and she could lift it several times, and she did.
And she did. She got one.
She did amazing.
Or something.
Yeah, and so just little stories like that. And now I think in a couple of years' time, or even in a year's time, she'll look back and be pretty proud of.
It was one of those Open moments.
Yeah.
And I also think it's important to mention that Gabby's focusing on soccer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a complete. It's not like the biggest part of the week or the month is to come in here and get an Open score.
Yeah.
She has the life outside.
Well,
She's
this
focusing
is
on something else.
complementing her soccer.
Yeah,
that's right.
So she's playing in a women's league and she's just turning 18 next Friday. And so it's just about making her stronger to be able to hold her own with some, decent size women that are playing soccer. So she doesn't get pushed off the ball. Well, she doesn't. And
Not anymore. She's
she
come a long
this
way.
has helped her heaps. So, which is good.
That's awesome.
It's good.
Yeah.
And it is neat to be able to do it, like
Yeah.
getting advice from your sister. And I mean, there's, we all get advice from each other, and it's nice to do that rather than them bickering over clothes.
And it's
Although
the,
they do that.
the mindset finishing. I mean, she came home and it wasn't about the score. It wasn't about what anyone else did. She came home and said, I moved the 15
Yeah.
15-pound dumbbell.
Yeah.
I moved
Many
it.
times.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I moved
many
it,
times.
and it didn't matter what happened from there. She took the positive, she took the win, and she said, you know what?
And
I
you
did
kind of
that.
go to
I
sleep
did that.
smiling.
Yep.
You're like, oh,
And then you wake up real sore.
I go, why did I do that? I should have done the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I woke up this morning and my triceps are
Yeah.
on fire. I haven't been this sore in forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit about the day yesterday. It was a pretty big day at the gym, and I think people also can forget that when you go home, after you get out of the music and the crowd and the adrenaline and everything. Like I don't know about you guys, but I definitely hit a wall. You just need silence for a little
Yeah.
bit.
You should have seen our house. It was very, very, very quiet. There was not much happening because I think we got home about 12:30
Yeah.
after we watched some of Starry's athletes go, which is very humbling. Yeah, and we were just like you said, your central nervous system is just overloaded after that day. And I think too, it's overwhelming having that many people watch you, and it's a bit intimidating and all of that. So I think the fact that everybody came down and gave it a crack was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the things that stands out from yesterday? What, like anything that you remember?
The funny was Jules no repping me.
They have the shirt for a reason.
That was a funny bit. No, first of all, I do want to, I guess, give her a shout out too. I mean, she is the definition of the glue as to why I think people like her is why the community work. No, it's true. You must have judged 7 different people yesterday.
Yeah.
When you weren't
think
competing,
it
you were
was that
judging.
many.
I'm going to get food, and the next, no, I got this one. No, I'm judging this one. No, and I know everyone helps there too, but you actually come to Saturday morning. I'm going to work. You know, I'm here to judge. I'm here to support. I'm here to help. You're in the colors. You're in the chats and all that stuff. So
take care of
Got my
Indy.
green.
Team Green.
yeah. So no, it's
Yeah.
it's
It makes the biggest difference
it
having people like
does,
that.
and because
I enjoy it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't.
I
enjoy
get
it.
I can be selfish, and this
Well,
is what I
think,
need.
I think when
and
you're competing,
yeah.
and this is what we've learnt over the years, and when you're trying to get to a certain level, you do have to become a bit selfish and self-focused, and it's not an indication of not caring about what everyone else is doing. You have to go inside and think about what you're doing, and to get the best performance you can. And I admire Starry because he's here competing, but then he's also having to look
Yeah.
after
Hard balance.
all of
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
all his athletes, and
And then his
fielding,
personal life as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
and then,
yeah.
and I admire him for being able to switch between those roles because it wouldn't be easy.
It's such a good
Yeah.
point because that is really, really difficult. And I think when you are an athlete, you're right. You do have to be a bit selfish
Yeah.
because you're focusing so much on your performance. But I think for the most part, for most people, that should be a temporary
Yes.
pursuit because you can't live like that
No. Yeah.
decade after decade.
Yeah.
No.
That's not healthy for any of your
No.
relationships, right?
No.
But yeah, when you're trying to make the games or
Yeah.
talking about other sports too,
Yeah.
like it is super. Even triathlons, like you
Yes.
guys mentioned, you
Yeah.
have to spend
That's
so much
super
time
selfish,
doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there
And
are
then-
so different
yeah.
periods, I feel. Like this period in particular of the year for us is quite a self-focused time. But then, we get to
Well, you can
the
talk about
middle
that
of the
too.
year.
Mia was trying to explain it to some of her friends who don't,
Yeah.
aren't CrossFitters, and they're like, well, just come out with us and we're going here, here, and there. And she's like, well, I've got an early training session in the morning, and that's my priority, and just trying to explain that.
Or even going out and like not drinking and things like
Yeah.
that. Like you need to be able to back it up the next day. And it's also something, it doesn't feel like a burden to me. Like it's not something I'm restricting myself on. It's something that I enjoy getting up and I enjoy training. So
Yeah.
for right now, that benefits it. So
So how is that received in your friends group?
it's okay. It's a hard balance at the moment. And I'm still working through it because it's not just training. It's training, work, and uni, and so that takes up a huge proportion of your life in terms of time. So trying to make time for social events and things like that is something I'm still trying to figure out.
Balance.
And I think I graduate at the end of this year, so hopefully that'll all start to fall into routine soon.
Because how old are you now?
I turned 23 next week. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I don't know about you, Mike and Jules, but like when I think back about my early 20s, friends were everything.
This is why.
And drinking partying was pretty high up there
I think
too.
for us as parents, we've been so thankful that we found this community sport lifestyle because, what we were doing at early 20s was not what me and Gabby and Jacob are. I mean, Jacob's still pretty social, but but he seems to balance it
He
out.
does
He still
well,
can get up.
Which is it's the interesting, you mentioned about the foster kids before. No, but when you take your CrossFit serious and you're at that age, it's a lonely life. You have different values, you have different time schedules, everything is not in sync with most of the community. So I know Hamali felt pretty isolated down where she was. I know Quinn was very isolated up in the Central Coast. I know you were starting to drift away from your friends and being more CrossFit. So when you start finding the like-minded people and you can bring them together, you have a little support network. And it's how you grow.
Especially for you having close friends in your age bracket, right? That's similar values, because that's the hard part. Because Buster has similar values, but he's a little bit older, so it's not quite the same. But and also, I wonder if you, Mia, have thought about how the top women in the sport at your age group, like Hayley Adams,
like Mal before she
like they've all had massive challenges. It seems like break from the sport, like had to step away, those kind of things. Do you think about that?
I do, and I think when I'm kind of thinking about them and comparing it to my life, I mean, I struggle as is, to not in terms of mental health or anything, but just balancing everything and every kind of responsibility and things like that. And then you tack on another 4 to 5 hours of training on top of that every day, which is what those guys were doing. I'm looking at probably 1 to 2 hours, 2.5 max on a Saturday. So it's not to the level that those guys have had. And I think when you get to a certain level of competition and elite status, if you will, there starts to be those expectations on you that you do train more and you get better and you need to level it up. I'm not there yet, but I may never be. But I think they probably felt that level of pressure and felt the need to kind of drop everything. And
I think when the whole focus is on performance and results,
definitely.
It would be really hard.
And it's your work too.
Yes.
For me, it's a source of enjoyment. I have no expectation I have certain expectations for myself, but I mean, these guys at the end of the day, they're not going to love me any more or less if I, don't go to a gym go to the gym.
It's so true. Well, it's a good way to look at it. Let's switch gears a little bit, because I think people have now a bit of an idea of where you guys are at. But I think a good topic is a bit of the structure of the week and the training that you're putting in. Like, how does that look like for the three of you? Is it similar? Do you mostly go together, or is it quite different? And then what's the difference?
Quite different.
Yeah. How about we start with Mike and move to the...
I'm a creature of habit. I
could not tell.
His same track pants that he wears in the morning.
A good point. People are going to be disappointed you're not doing this podcast in track pants.
No, and I think it was actually Greg. I don't know. Someone told me if someone wanted to assassinate you, they could be there a week ahead of time, and you'll still show up there at the same place, same time, same thing. And I do. I'm usually thinking about bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. But even that, it's getting home. I can go through it. Getting home at 6. Then there's dinner. Then there's spa. Then there's getting ready for work. Then there's a ROM ward. Then it's Hydrolyte. Then it's bed.
Do you do ROM ward every day in the evening?
Usually, usually 4 or 5 times a week I'll do it.
Okay.
He's always been good with mobility stuff, though. Even when we started dating, you were doing...
Yeah, I'm not a couch person. I usually sit on the floor and stretch.
We used to do martial arts of some kind, and he would stretch every
long,
day.
yeah, we use that term
No,
mostly.
well, we've been together a long time, but I'm just saying from
yeah.
how long I've known you, you
Yeah.
have always done mobility stuff.
Yeah, and then it's up. Try to get up most mornings. Usually,
At
it's
4:30.
getting that rest day. You need. I need to work that one day in at least a week just for sleep. Because 9:30 to I think I'm up at 4:30.
4:30.
Yeah, and
Because he
that's-
gets up and gets in the spa.
That's
Yes.
I have to.
wow.
Yeah, I need
Straight
that.
away in the morning.
Yeah, and that's just a move. Just loosen up the joints and stuff, and get the shoulders and knees and hips and everything going, because you're gonna be here snatching and cleaning and stuff. And if you're not ready to go, you're gonna hurt yourself. It's front racks and things like that. If it's afternoons are an easier lift than the mornings. But I'm a creature of habit by morning, and morning's the time I can do. So mornings when I show up. But I think I ate the same lunch
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
for years. I'd have sushi for years and stuff. I switched over to Muscle Chef now and trying to get some more protein and things in me. But no,
Huge
it's a
change.
very boring life. And I probably talk to Jules maybe half an hour to 45 minutes a day. We get to see each other and cross paths, if that, really,
Yeah.
at dinner when we eat.
Yeah.
And then I'm in the spa
Yeah.
and stretching, and she'll go one way and I'll go the other. And good night.
So you're a 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
class person.
Yeah.
Yep.
Generally do the class. And then, so it's usually once a day. for training?
No, we do endurance. We'll
Yeah,
get
we've been
endurance
doing
once
endurance.
or twice a week.
Yeah.
And once that's late though, isn't it?
6:30.
Yeah, 6:30, and that makes it
Tuesday or
hard. Doing a
Thursday.
double Tuesday and getting up Wednesday morning, that's a challenging one.
That's right.
So,
Yeah. Wow. Okay. How about you, Mia?
It has recently changed because uni's just started back up again a couple of weeks ago. But generally speaking, Monday, Tuesday, Saturdays are my big days because they're uni and internship days. So I get to be here.
Yeah,
Or
home,
about-
working from home.
Yeah, and I get to be in the gym for about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Which is really nice. And then I'm not as good as Dad. I can't do the 5:30 a.m. when I'm working. I just can't. I would so much rather come back from work and start training. So we generally, I'm really lucky to have
5:30.
Quinn.
Yeah.
We come back from work and he's found the same thing. So we train at like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night, and then generally till 7:30. And then bed up for work the next couple of days, and then we have a sit crew come in on a Saturday, and
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
tend to do the
Oh, you do the Star
comp.
Strike
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Saturdays. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's
So,
usually
yeah.
quite a long session.
Yeah.
2 hours. Yeah.
Lot of
Yeah.
lot of
chatting. Yeah, lot
Just
of
a lot of
wrestling
yelling.
between sets. Yeah.
I'm typically a 9:30 a.m. I work from home for what's not a family business anymore, but I work for Mike on more levels than just So I do mostly 9:30 a.m. I'll do Monday afternoon comp class with Bunnings, which is fun, and then do the 9:30 on Saturdays. So we're all quite different
Yeah, I
as to
think
when we train,
we
which is
probably
probably
only train
good.
together on
Yeah,
Saturdays.
yeah.
Eh? Yeah, we
Yeah.
come together on Saturdays.
So you do 2 comp classes a week.
Yes.
Mondays and Saturdays. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'll do the endurance.
she'll out-train us all.
Not
Jules
that the
will-
results. Are
No, but you will
showing,
log more hours training than we will.
Yeah.
As I said, there's a lot of socializing that goes on while I'm at the gym too, though. So it's not flogging myself all the time.
How do you find the comp classes though compared to normal classes? Describe a little bit. What's the difference?
Okay, so I thought at first I'm like that. I can't come to a comp class. I don't go to competitions. I think I've done one competition, which was the freezing hot one.
Yeah.
But I like it because you've got Bunnings there that helps you with your lifting. He's incredible with giving advice. So you don't need to be a comp athlete to go. And as all the classes are, everyone's doing what level they can do. So you adjust and scale, and because obviously I can't do like muscle ups and all that stuff that Hamali's knocking off like there's nothing. But it's fun, and everybody's, encouraging each other. But when the conditioning starts, you're just doing what you can do at your level. And I really like
It's
it.
not wildly different from general classes in the sense that there are, 20
Yeah.
different capabilities
Yeah.
there, and everybody's just trying
Yeah.
to get their session in.
It's
and do what
fun.
they can.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
And
fun.
you do meet some new people. I mean, we met Isaac.
Yeah.
Isaac,
Yeah.
we got
Yeah.
Isaac
Yeah.
when he first started,
Yeah.
and I remember Isaac was fairly new to the sport,
Oh,
a
he
good
was-
athlete, track, and he had always had a
Yeah.
great engine.
Massive engine.
But he for the first few weeks going, I was looking behind because he was always trying to catch me, and we were doing handstand push-ups. I remember one day, and I was going through it, and he was going and falling on his head, and he's like, "How do you do?" And you don't get too many wins as an oldie, you know. You're thinking, okay, yeah, don't worry, sons, one day you'll get it. You know? So the kid goes home. And he said, he came back 2 months, we had handstand push-ups again, and he started banging out 10. I said, what have you been doing? And he goes, handstand push-ups. He goes, I do push-ups every night and handstand push-ups every night for the last 2 months or something. And
Yes,
bang,
Dad
he
said
starts
he
like,
came
"Oh,
home
God."
and he just started
He just did 'em.
working,
Yeah.
just started working on them and building them up. And God, look at him now. He's
I
just
know.
Yeah.
It's gone.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Actually, wonder what he gets on this one. This is
He
pretty
got
good.
310, 315.
Wow.
With
And he's
with the
redoing.
redo.
He's
He's redo. He said, no, there's more in me.
you can always
Lunatic.
do better, he said. But
Yeah.
he's another, like, that I think for me, seeing all these young guys and how committed and focused and, just disciplined, I just think, we complain about the young people sometimes and how they work. But if all of these guys are any indication, I think we'll all be fine because they just work so hard. I mean, Hamali's here all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and she's just working so hard. And for her to move up last year, she wasn't even
That
18.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She turned 18 when she was here. And to move out of her town to a place she didn't know, to a family that was chaotic.
Strangers, yeah.
And to do what she's doing and just watching her just blossom and become an amazing person, not just athlete, is really cool to see.
You got a beautiful message from her mum the other day, too.
Yeah.
And you can never show her because her daughter's basically moved 5 hours north and they don't have the contact with her. You think, I hope they're not pissed off at us for influencing this. But yeah. you
They're
were saying
lovely, though,
that.
her parents.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
thankful that
They were,
the community's,
just,
taken
thank you.
So how did I actually did just thought that
Yeah.
she knew you guys a little
No.
bit before the Open last year. So
No.
how did that connection happen?
was
Sorry.
She put something on the Starry group and said
Ah.
she needed a place to stay during the Open workouts. And so she came up that first week, knocked on the door and said,
Yep.
because we said, well, we've got a spare room. Come up and stay. And then we said, do you have to go back every week? Because it was
She did last year, hadn't
Yeah, a
Yeah.
good 6
Yeah,
hour
like 5 and a
drive.
bit, 6 hours. And she was on a red P's too, so she had to go.
Yeah.
And you get worried about it. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't know it too well, but that's a long drive for a
Yeah.
young girl.
So then
And a
the
little,
second...
little Picasso, like
zipping
little
around.
racer car.
Yeah, but then the second week she said, do you mind if I stay for the week? So then I don't have to go back. And then it just sort of started. And then
Yeah.
Mike said, why don't you move up here?
Well, so you planted that seed.
Well, it just made sense.
Well, her parents are not going to be happy with you. You're right. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so that was how all that came about. And now she lives in the granny flat behind mum and dad.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, and running laps around us in the workout.
Oh,
Yes.
God,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, incredible. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so to wrap this episode up a little bit, let's last kind of topic or question is a bit. What's your plans for this year? Let's start with Mike again. Oh, let's start the other
yeah.
end. Let's start with
Okay.
Jules this time.
For myself or for Mike?
For yourself. Actually, for Mike, that'd be great.
I have planted the seed. I said, even if you make it to the games, do we have to go to the States? Can you not just tick that off the list? Starry may be killing me for saying that. I'm not sure. For myself, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. Love doing what I'm doing. And
Any training goals?
Obviously, to get consistent chest to bar, consistent toes to bar, because they're all singles at the moment. And maybe do a couple more team or pair comps.
Oh, so you're
down the
open to
track.
competing again.
I did like doing it with Sylvia and Jules Dutton. That was
Yeah.
a lot of fun. It was really good. I don't like being center of attention and doing it on my own. I've always played more team sport, not individual sport. So doing it as pairs or teams is fun for me. So and it does gives you something to work towards. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. I am in a pairs with Daisy, one of Star's athletes this year. So where she's got an insane set of lungs on her. So that'll be fun to try and keep up with her. But we're going to see what we can do in terms of like seeing what the qualifiers like for Torian and things like that moving forward. And then I think I haven't opened a message yet, but we're talking about doing a team with Jacob and Quinn as well, because the two guys that we were originally paired up with kind of ended up having other plans. So that would be a really awesome one. And then, just to get my rings a little bit more consistent would be
Ring
a great
muscle-ups?
one. Yeah.
And so Torian, you can do female pairs in Torian? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. So
And then how do you qualify to Torian in the
think
female
it's
pairs?
through the open scores, but you have to register separately. So
And
you
then I think
register-
there's one extra workout.
There could
There's
be.
a fourth.
I think so
know
too.
For the,
I think so too, yeah.
For the individual master.
I think
could
it
be,
follows
yeah.
straight after the
Yes,
Open. So
the
it's like a
week
week
after.
4 of the Open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
you
not
might
too
need to look
bad.
into that.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
That's
No,
another thing I do. I just look at things.
yeah. No, that'd be kind of good because trying
Yeah.
to cram your skills into 3 weeks is a big
Yeah.
ask. So
Yeah.
a week 4 wouldn't be. I'm not mad at that at all.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Mike.
I don't know. I
You
guess
do know.
you know. Well, you do and you don't. You can only control what you can control. So you can say, yeah, you want to make the games, but at the end of the day, you don't know what workouts are coming and who's around you. So is the year a loss or not successful because you don't get that? You go as far as you can, doing what you can do with what you're capable of doing. I mean, we could get another 300 burpee workout next week, and then it is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You can only do what you can do.
What's the road for you to get to the games?
Okay, so for our particular group, it'll be the top 200.
So top 200 from the Open in
Yeah.
your age bracket,
Yeah.
male age bracket, go through the next stage,
To
which
semi-
is
Semi-finals.
semis, and then
Okay.
from there it's the top 30.
Which is in April, mid-April are the semi-online
okay. So
qualifiers.
So you got to be top 30 in the semis.
And then top 30 semis, and you go on from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
And
the States.
semis, is that a week or is it
That
A
is
weekend?
a weekend.
Yeah.
long weekend?
It's usually a four or five
workouts.
workout week. And I think what made it look, I guess, optimistic coming into this year was because I was the oldest one in the group last year
Yeah.
and the top 30, and I was 39. So I missed the games by 9 spots. So you'd figure moving up an age group, it's kind of in your
100%.
favor. But I move heavyweight at my pace. Moving lightweight quickly is a different beast than moving heavyweight too. So
which is what's happening now? You're
55
scaling the
yes,
weights.
they
right,
pull the
yeah.
weights back, and what was a chest to bar is now a pull-up. What was a muscle-up might be a jumping pull-up, and you're thinking, oh, you can't utilize it. So it is what it is. You
It's hard to know.
yeah,
It is hard
see
to
what
know.
happens.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you just keep do the grind. You keep meeting people, stay on your journey, problem
Oh,
solving, enjoying
you'd
it.
want to try Down Under again.
Yeah, I'll do
Because
Down Under.
Oh, yep.
I
Under was
did
fun.
Down Under. I signed up for Torian for this year. So, you can do some local comps and fly
Down
around
Under's
and
a
stuff.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
And Mike won that for his age group last year.
Yes, you got to go
So-
back and defend.
Yeah.
And that age
Yeah.
bracket at Down Under is different again. So are you in the same age bracket for Down Under as you were last year?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Because they have like an odd
Yeah.
bracket
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
That'll be
Well,
good.
big year,
Yes.
2025. We might have to do a repeat episode towards the end of the year, see how you went with it, how you guys went with everything. And maybe we'll put Jacob on
A
that.
debrief.
I will let Jacob and Gabby and them
Yeah.
defend what we've talked about.
Yeah,
about
that's
them.
right.
So, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.